Ooh, ah, ooh, ah, ooh. Doo doo.
Idris got a gun.
That's right, baby. It's time for movie trailer trash. Enjoy. Hi, and welcome to Movie Trailer Trash. We just watched the trailer for The Dark Tower. Woo!
Yes. And I'm Bethany.
I'm Charlie.
And if this is your first time listening to Movie Trailer Trash, welcome.
Hi there.
And if it's your 30th time, then thanks.
What if it's their 31st?
Ugh. Well, thank you again.
40?
I like all of our listeners.
What if they
I almost said
listen to
my
it-
listeners. I like all of my listeners.
What if they listen to it just to complain about it on the message boards?
I don't care. That would be great. Then people would hear about us more. All right. So Dark Tower starring Idris Elba and Matthew McConaughey. Those are the ones that you're going to know.
I'm
Those are the
pretty
people you're
sure
gonna
that,
know.
yeah, that's all you're going to really care about in this.
Yeah.
Maybe the kid who looks like a small version of Michael Shannon.
Well, yeah, he's going to be like kind of the main character. Well, Idris Elba will be the main character, I think, but the kid is like the reason that everything is happening.
Yeah,
he
has some sort
is
of weird
propelling the
capability.
story forward. And obviously it's going to be, I think it's cool because it looks, well, first of all, Idris got a gun. He's a gunslinger is what they call him. So he's basically like a cowboy with like magical gun abilities. It's kind of like, it almost reminds me of like not Deadpool. Yeah, Deadpool from the original Wolverine
what
movie.
He's supposed to be in this is in this universe or
really good with
dimension
guns.
or whatever. He's like he looks like a cowboy, and he has all the same equipment as a cowboy, but he acts as like a
Guardian
knight
or
would in like a feudal system.
Well, and he does describe that at the beginning. He
Feudalism?
said that at the beginning. Yeah, feudalism.
Feudalism.
At the beginning, he describes that. He says, gunslingers used to be the knights that protected the tower, basically. And now what happens in the trailer, for those of you who haven't had a chance to watch it, is that this boy is having these dreams, and his therapist says, they're just dreams. And then the earth shakes because the boy also has some sort of mysterious power.
Mysterioso.
And he finds this kind of hole in the universe that leads him to Idris Elba.
Which is just in like a building somewhere.
Yeah, that he dreamed about. But it leads him to Idris Elba.
It's like at someone's house in like their library.
Yeah. But it's a building that he saw in his dream, it looked like.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the whole point is that he finds Idris Elba in this other world. Idris explains to him that if the Dark Tower falls, that it'll unleash hell on both of their worlds.
Matthew McConaughey is very keen on that happening.
Yeah, so Matthew McConaughey, he's kind of like the devil, huh, is what the kid says, and he goes, he's worse.
I wish they would have done something to Matthew McConaughey.
To make him
at
look
all.
different at
Or
all?
just like anything.
It looks
so
like they just literally snatched him off the set of his car commercial.
Yeah, out of a Lincoln
they
commercial.
were like, hey, they opened the door to the Lincoln and pulled him out and were like, come on, you got to go right now. We don't have time for hair and makeup.
And he was like, all right.
And then he was, I was disappointed though, because I think Matthew McConaughey is a great actor, but he's playing basically a villain in a very stylistic, kind of like a very... I was saying it's a kids movie earlier, and you kind of disagreed, but
I believe. Okay, so I read a thing that it's not rated yet.
Yeah,
and it's coming out on August 4th. And
I saw some
read
blood.
a thing that was saying that it was they're probably going to make it rated R.
See,
but
that's
they
crazy to
might
me.
not, just because it's a fantasy, probably going to be series of movies, because it's based on a Stephen King book.
Yeah.
Book series that is 8 books.
Yeah.
With over 4,000 pages.
So if it does well, they'll do more.
I think they're already planning on doing more, whether it does well or not.
Well, here's the problem. I feel like it's a really bad idea to make it rated R. And usually I'm not a fan of scaling back violence and stuff so that you can get
Can you shoot people in the head like that in PG-13
I don't
movies?
think so. That's what I was saying. I mean, it was from far away and there was some blood splatter, but here's the thing.
Maybe you can.
I think this should be a PG-13 movie because... To me, the people who are really going to benefit from this movie are between the ages of like 9 and like 17.
Well,
like
here.
right before, actually 16, before they can go see.
I
a
have
rated
some
R movie.
evidence on either side of that.
Okay, go ahead.
So, one of the writers for it. What?
I wanted to say about Matthew McConaughey though. Since we were on that, the reason I brought it up is because if it's a kids movie or even just a fantasy movie, you know, you have this cool cowboy and this cool world, and then Matthew McConaughey is just Matthew McConaughey. I wish they would have done anything to him to make him, because in that type of a fantasy world, you expect the villain to be a little bit more done up, like Maleficent or Loki, right?
Maleficent.
Yeah, like those type of characters with like a lot of like weird clothing and makeup and whatever, and he's just Matthew McConaughey. So that
I think he had some like kind of weird eyes going on.
It just kind of disappointed me. In fact, even the guy from that King Arthur movie, even Jude Law in the King Arthur movie looked more like a bad guy, like a good bad guy than him. So, okay, you were saying.
So one of the writers, hold on. One of the writers for this movie is, his name is Jeff Pinkner, and apparently he's been around a long time because
his name is Jesse Pinkman.
Yes, Jesse Pinkman.
Just kidding.
He wrote a bunch of Fringe episodes, which is a sci-fi TV show that a lot of people
I love
really
those
like.
episodes.
And then he also wrote
I've never seen Fringe.
I Am Legend,
I
Robot. But now these are the bad ones. The Fifth Wave, and Batman Forever, and Batman and Robin.
Never seen those.
And so even though I Am Legend and iRobot
those are good movies,
they still have that kind of same feeling a little bit.
I have one thing to say about I Am Legend and iRobot. If anybody's like, those movies aren't good, then they're not my friend. That's all I got to say about
Okay,
that.
Fair enough.
I love those movies. No, but so
and
that's
then one
the
of
writer?
the other writers is a fellow writer on Fringe with the same guy.
Okay.
And then he also wrote The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
That was pretty good. I mean,
which is
the stuff that was bad about that wasn't the writing, I don't think.
Well, if it falls all apart, you know,
at the end,
2/3 of the way through it. But
yeah, that's true.
And so there's that.
They
so
try
that
to do
is
too
on
much.
the evidence of it'll be a PG-13 movie.
That's true, and iRobot, Amazing Spider-Man 2, and I'm not sure about I Am Legend, but those are all PG-13 movies, I think.
Yeah, I think all of those are.
And at the same time, they're still intense, like especially,
and so is Fringe.
especially.
Well, Fringe is probably PG, but that's just because it's
yeah.
on TV.
But especially I Am Legend. That one, even though it's PG-13, is still really intense and really scary. So I'm just saying,
Spoiler.
oh my goodness. Actually, I think it's okay. I think it's been like 4 years at least. Actually, no, probably since I was in high school.
I think it's been like 10 years.
Well, time flies when you're having a good time. That's the saying, right? Time flies when you're having a good time.
Yeah, when things are going well in your life. But the person who's directing this only has 6 directing credits.
Okay.
But he wrote The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Interesting. The book?
No.
Oh.
The movie.
Okay. You got to be specific.
Sorry, yeah, that was my bad. He wrote the screenplay for The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which is very R, I believe.
Did he direct anything of note?
No.
Okay. So here's the thing.
But he wrote a bunch of stuff, and he was a producer on a bunch of stuff. So he's a writer who is finally getting his chance to direct.
This is the type of thing I would compare this trailer to. The type of movie it reminds me of is like The Book of Henry that's coming out soon. And The Lovely Bones. Did you ever see that? With Mark Wahlberg, about the girl who dies, and then
some sort of horrible like.
It's a horror type.
It was not serial killer type thing.
Yes, creepy guy kills a girl, and then she has to come. She like the spirit of herself.
The guy who created Captain America kills the girl.
Yeah. Wait.
Jack Kirby.
Captain America.
Yeah, the German doctor.
Yes, that guy. So yeah, he kills the girl. This was actually a book too, and it was really popular when I was in middle school or high school. High school, I think. Anyway, he kills the girl. Her spirit doesn't know why she's left on Earth, and the idea is that she has to try and help her dad and her sister solve her murder. It's a really good movie. It really is, and that's the thing. It makes me think of those type of movies where it's like they're for kids, but they're not poorly done necessarily, and they're not bad stories. So like The Lovely Bones is great, but it's not like I would recommend it to like an adult friend who's just looking for something to do for the weekend. But if I had like a 13-year-old girl who was like looking for something to do.
Serial killer?
What?
13-year-old would like the movie about the serial killer?
That movie is made for 13-year-old girls.
Yeah?
That book is made for because it's called The Lovely Bones, but I mean it's from the point of view of like a 14, maybe 15-year-old girl, and it's this mystery. I mean, you got to think about it. When it comes to books, people people are willing to accept a lot more than in movies.
Mhm.
So like kids read books about intense stuff and mysteries and murder mysteries. And so the way
like
it unfolds
the
is
one
really
where the
interesting.
girl who breaks and enters and tries out all the family's stuff, like sleeps in their bed
Shut
and eats
up.
their food.
That's a little kid story, and it's not a family, it's a bear.
It's a bear family.
Why they have a house, I don't know.
Because they've done very well for themselves. Their
But
dad's
okay.
in the circus.
But okay, so the point is, The Lovely Bones is perfect for like a 13-year-old girl.
Thought
But
was
that
really
doesn't
funny.
mean that her parents wouldn't enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Or even a kid that's a little younger. It would be, but that's why it's got to be PG-13, because it would be up to the parents' discretion, because it is pretty intense.
So it's more like Harry Potter.
Yeah, I would say that. But the thing is, so this could
Hunger
be
Games.
like the Hunger Games or Harry Potter, definitely.
I think it's going to be more intense, but only because it's Stephen King.
But I think a little more on the fantasy side than both of those. I realize that, well, like Hunger Games is more of a dystopian universe than a fantasy universe. Some fantasy, but mostly dystopian. And then Harry Potter is fantasy, but it's like its own brand of fantasy. Whereas this, to me, has almost more of a Lord of the Rings feel. Like more of a like...
It's a journey.
Yeah. It's
Whereas
like, it reminds me of
Harry
that
Potter
type of a
is
fantasy
like
movie.
This guy and
It's
his
just a kid's
adventures.
life. Yeah, exactly. It's an adventure story, and this is more of a journey. But it's interesting because at first I was like, God, this looks bad. Probably because mostly Matthew McConaughey looked stupid.
Just walking around in
But
his
then
black
there's
dress
this
shirt.
one part in the trailer where Idris Elba takes his gun, and he uses like old style like cowboy guns with the
Revolvers.
revolvers. Thank you. I'm not good with guns. So he takes his revolver, opens it up, and then like spins it, and as it spins he goes chink 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 and like puts little bullets into every single hole as it's spinning, like perfectly quick. And it was so cool. And then the next few scenes it showed was like him shooting, but he was doing all these awesome things. Like at one point he like flips his gun and flips a whole pack of bullets into the air and like catches it.
Well, that's
with
what I
the
was going to
gun.
say is that
Like everything he's doing is really cool looking, and they did a good job of
I think that the only thing that looks really good about this movie is Idris Elba reloading his gun.
Yeah, and shooting it. There's like the way it was filmed was very stylistic, where he points and then the camera kind of freezes or time slows down for a second, and I mean it looked really cool. And I like the idea of the story, but I don't think it'll be done very well.
Yeah, it's weird. It kind of looks
It's
like
weird.
it
It's
was
like
made from
Two parts of it. Like there's
like
the Idris
the
part
mid
and the other part.
2000s a little bit.
Yeah. So it's interesting because I think it'll be an interesting story. I love the idea of Idris Elba being kind of an awesome cowboy hero. And he honestly looks like he's really into the character, which what was it that he was in where we were like, he doesn't care?
Well, he doesn't want to be in the Marvel movies.
Yeah. Is that what it was? It's just like, why be in something you
Although
don't
he
wanna be
does a
in?
good job.
He does, yeah. No, there was something I swear that he was in recently where I was like, it seems like he doesn't want to be there, and it seems like he's not even trying. What was that?
Well, I've only seen him in Marvel and The Office.
Okay. I know there was something. Oh, well. Anyway, he's a good actor, though, from what I've seen,
Was he British in this? I couldn't tell.
I don't think so.
He
Hang
didn't
on.
sound not British.
He didn't sound not British. He didn't sound American, that's for sure.
Maybe everyone just has like a weird accent.
I think it was
No,
just,
because
yeah.
Matthew McConaughey is just Texas.
No, I think he just talked like himself, but I doubt that they will act like, I think that everyone will just talk like themselves, but they're from a different universe, so who
Star
cares?
Trek. He's the bad guy in Star
that's
Trek
what it is.
Beyond.
That's what it is that we saw, and we were like, he looks like he's like not really into it, so he's just
Probably
because
he had to do like 8 hours of makeup.
That's true.
every
He was
day.
just exhausted from the makeup. But yeah, I mean, look, I think he's gonna be cool. I'm interested in the concept, but I don't know. I think we should go on to the next part.
Yeah, I don't think it looks super great. So let's see when, where, and how you're gonna see it. Where? When? How? Are you gonna see this movie?
I think we gave them a little bit too much of a warning on what we might say, but I'm gonna go into it. Are you ready?
You never know.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm interested in the story, but I don't think I'm gonna see it in theater. Well, no, I'm not gonna see it. I can say I'm not gonna see it in theater.
Okay.
However, if it's on Netflix, I'll definitely see it if it comes out on Netflix. So if I can see it for free, I will not spend money on it, I don't think. I don't think I would even rent it like $6 on Vudu or go to the Red Box because that's a lot of effort. But if it's on Netflix, I'd be like, hey, we should watch that movie and see if it was any good. The only
I think it'll definitely be
stipulation?
on Netflix
definitely
at some point.
And the only stipulation I
Or
would say,
Prime. This looks like a Prime movie.
Yeah.
Amazon Prime.
the only stipulation I would say as to why I might not see it on Netflix is if it gets so bad, like 11%, and people say it's like painful to watch, then I might not.
Okay.
But it's kind of like that movie, The Circle. You and I were both excited about it because we had read the book, and then it got like 23%, and that was for
it
like
got like less than
really.
that. Yeah.
But at the
The
same
audience
time,
gave it like 30. That's
Yeah.
so rare.
but at the same time, you and I both said that we'll probably watch it when it comes on Netflix, right?
Yeah, maybe.
We were talking about that. Well, because I kind of just want to see how it turned out, because we did see the story, or we read the story, so we know. And so even if it's bad, at least we have our memories
It'll
of the
be
story.
fun to complain about it.
Yeah, maybe. But so I'm not sure. But if it gets terrible reviews, I might not. But
I'm
could
gonna say
definitely see watching it on Netflix.
2 things about this one.
Cool.
One of them is that I'll probably, like you said, it'll probably almost definitely be on Netflix. And the thing that I'm going to do with is put it on my list and then not watch it until I read something that says it's leaving Netflix in like 4 days.
Yeah, that's a good, something to do for all of you out there. A really fun thing to do is right at the end of every month, see what's leaving and what's coming, and just watch stuff that's leaving. Because now I haven't really noticed any really great movies leaving recently. More than likely, I've been seeing a lot of good shows leaving Netflix, which is sad.
Scrubs.
Psych.
That new Psych movie's coming out.
First season of Dollhouse. But anyway, I digress. The point is, there was one month where it was like right before Christmas, I think in 2014, because it was the year Charlie and I got married. And there was a bunch of movies that were leaving Netflix. And I was like, oh no, I always wanted to see that. One of them was Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. And one of them was
Love that movie.
12 Angry Men.
Love that
And those
movie,
are both
too.
like classic movies that everybody loves. And one of them.
Those are like 2 of like the top 4 like
movies of that time
best old movies.
Yeah.
For me anyway.
Exactly.
Obviously.
Well, no, everybody loves them. And so I wanted to see them, but I kept putting it off. It was always on my list or whatever. Well, especially Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, because I'm a ridiculous fan of
who?
the guy.
Of the guy. Okay.
Dang it, from It's a Wonderful Life. Jimmy
Yeah.
Stewart?
Yeah.
Is that his name?
Yeah.
For some reason, that didn't sound right in my head. So Jimmy Stewart. I'm a huge fan of Jimmy
Probably because
Stewart.
you've been reading a lot
Not
about Jimmy
enough-
Carter recently.
Maybe. I'm a huge fan of Jimmy Stewart. Not enough to apparently remember his name.
Yeah.
But
Biggest fan ever.
no, but I
Who's
love
that guy?
I love It's a Wonderful Life. And I know that's like, oh yeah, who doesn't? Obviously, but I will watch that movie every single year till the day I die, and I'll never get tired of it. It's awesome. And he's awesome. And so I really wanted to watch it. And that was, I think, the first time I ever saw one of those lists of things that are leaving Netflix soon. And I was like, we got to watch it. And so we ended up like getting a list of the things that were leaving. And we watched like one every day, like leading up to Christmas. And it was awesome because it felt like we were on vacation, even though we were still working every day during the day. It was awesome. So anyway, that was a tangent, but I recommend it.
The other thing I'm going to say about this one, which is something that I've been saying for a long time, is that they should... I'm going to probably, because this movie is coming out and I've seen the trailer, I'm probably going to read the book, or at least the first one.
Yeah.
And I've been saying for a super long time that books, like new bestseller books, should make theatrical trailers for their books and show them on TV.
Well, you know that some of them do.
I've never seen any.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, actually. That's because they don't put them like in places where you'd see them. You'd have to be seeking them out. But some of them do. You have to have a decent amount of money in the first place, so it can't be like a new author, you know? But they used to do that. I don't know if you ever saw this in school. They used to have like a thing where it was like 4 new books, and it would be a trailer for them. Did you ever see that in like elementary school?
No.
I think it was Reading Rainbow, or maybe it was another show like it.
Reading Rainbow.
I think it was another show like it, but basically they'd be like, new like books for young chapter books readers or whatever.
Oh.
Or like kids who are just starting to read chapter books or whatever, and it would be like, one of those Dear America books, and it would be like the story of a girl.
What is Dear America?
Experiencing the Titanic for the first time, whatever.
Is it about deers?
No, Dear America is
It's about
No,
alternate
it's a
timeline
series.
where deers have taken
No.
over the universe and
Dear
they control
America
the government?
is a series of diary style writing
By deers.
no, by young girls in their teens who are experiencing different parts of America. So there's some written from the point of view of slaves, some from Native Americans, one is from the point of view of a girl who was on the Titanic. That one, actually all of them, sob fest. Horrible sob fest. There's one where the girl's on the Oregon Trail. I read so many of those in 5th grade, a ridiculous amount. And they had trailers for those where it would be like, you know, a young girl dressed up as a girl on the prairie, and it would tell like a little thing about it. And it was always really interesting. Now, that was specifically for schools. They made those for schools. So they weren't super good quality, but they were good enough that it made you want to read it. But I know that they do that for some books. I'm not sure who, but I've seen it
But they're
before.
always really crappy because they don't want to show anyone's face. They don't want
They do. They just don't have real actors.
Well, no,
They
but
have nobodies.
No, they always it's always like the back of a woman's head, and she's like looking into like a foggy lake
Well, that's
or something.
silly.
all the time.
Are you sure? Because you just told me you'd never seen it, and now all of a sudden it's like you know exactly what it is.
Oh, so I do know what it is.
But no,
You like how I said that with what your, emphasis should have been?
yeah. Anyway, I get what you're saying, though. Yeah, I get what you're saying for sure.
Yeah, just go all out with it. Make a theatrical trailer. Get some legitimate actors to do like a short, like a 2-minute short, and make a theatrical trailer.
And then
about
what
your
would
book.
happen is they would see how many people buy the book based on that, like whatever, and then they'd make a movie with those exact characters.
Yeah, and it'd be awesome.
Like if the little short goes well and a lot of people buy the book, then we will take those actors and we'll give them a full movie deal.
Boom.
That would be cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed with books recently not having good movies like The Circle and Girl on the Train. Now, neither of those I've seen, but I'm definitely going to watch them both eventually. I loved both those books, and so I just was really hoping for another Gone Girl situation where it was awesome. And
Well, apparently, Dave Eggers
Was
for
it?
The Circle was involved in writing the screenplay, and it was still real bad.
yeah, but I think that, okay, so Gillian Flynn was involved in writing the screenplay for, or I think she just wrote the screenplay for
I think she wrote it
Gone
all.
Girl. But here's the thing. I think that there are people who are awesome writers and can write a novel and can't write a screenplay. It's very
Yeah.
different. It's very different. And
Stephen
his
King
book,
never writes his own screenplays, and he's had
Yeah.
however many, movies made out of his stuff.
And the guy who wrote The Circle, his book
I was going to say millions
was
of movies.
kind of like a little bit of a mystery, and there's a lot of little confusing things happening. And to try and visualize that and then write a script, that would be a difficult
Well,
feat.
there's so much stuff going on in her mind.
Yeah.
And that's like where everything is happening. And so
Yeah.
if you just put down all the conversations into a script, it would just be super boring. They were just talking to each other.
It would be so. I mean, he had his work cut out for him, but not everybody can do that.
All right, well, let's move on to Rotten Tomatoes, get back on track
Yes.
with this movie, and
Go.
do it.
Rotten Tomatoes percentages.
All right, Rotten Tomatoes.
All right, Rotten Tomatoes.
You take it away, Charlie.
Take it away. All right, I think this movie's going to get low.
Mm-hmm.
But
That's fair.
I don't think it's going to be like an epic failure. I think it's going to be a 58%.
I was going to say something about 50s, so that's cool that you guessed in the same range as me. I was going to say 52. 52%. And honestly, I think that is really good for this movie. I think if it gets 52% or higher, then it's probably a fun movie.
I agree. Because it's like cheesy and made in that way.
You can't expect it to be
Although
a 70-80% because
We've
even
never
if
read
it's
the
really
book.
good, even if it's really good, we can tell, I think, just by watching the trailer that it's not shot really great.
we've never read the book, so the book might be really intense and like crazy.
I think that the story's going to be interesting, and I think that'll be enough to make it 50-something%.
I hope there's
or higher.
the little of that kid as possible.
He doesn't look great, but he's going to be in it the whole time. It's very clear. It's very clear that he's like the main guy. Him and Idris are together in it. Oh, that was one part I had a question about in the trailer. He says, "I'm going to kill him." And then he said, "Both of us." Did he say for both
Yeah,
of us?
He said for both
Okay,
of us.
because I thought he said, like, I'm going to kill him, the both of us. And I was like, what? And the second time we saw the trailer, I still wasn't sure what he said there.
See, later in the movie, you find out that the kid loses his legs, and the top half of him gets sewn to Idris Elba.
No. No, but I mean, I think it'll have a good story. I think it'll have some really fun, cool shooting stuff. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm saying 52%. And then audience, I'll give it a 60.
I'll probably go
60.
65 for audience.
Fair enough. And I think, like I said before, that's really good.
Well, yeah.
Those are really good scores, though.
You know what it looked like to me? Those Underworld movies. It's very similar to that.
Aren't those like regular movies? They're not for kids? Underworld, isn't that vampire movie?
Basically for kids.
I've never seen them.
They're for kids who, like heavy metal.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
So I think that the best thing to come out of this is go read the book.
Oh, Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief or whatever.
Yes.
That's
Percy
what this
Jackson
reminds
and
me
the
of
Lightning
also.
Thief.
No, that's what this reminds me of also. Isn't that what it's called?
I don't think so.
The Lightning Thief?
I think
Percy Jackson? What's it called to you?
it's like it does have something to do with lightning. Percy Jackson's Lightning Storm.
No, I'm sure it's the Lightning Thief.
Jackson 5.
I'm gonna say Lightning Thief. But anyway, that it kind of reminds me of that too, which they made a movie out of that, right? At least out of the first one.
I think so. Yeah.
And like nobody really went to see it, and it wasn't that great. But I bet
But
if I
it's
were to watch
not
it, it would be
like
fun.
Divergent.
No. Oh. What's that movie that I watched that made us late to that wedding?
Maze Runner.
Maze Runner. Okay. Yeah. Just admitted that to everyone. Maze Runner was on TV one time and I watched it, and I feel like this is going to be on par with that, where it's like I wanted to see what happened, so I watched it, Like it was already on though. I wasn't like going out of my way. It wasn't the best movie I've ever seen, but it wasn't poor quality to where I couldn't enjoy it.
But yeah, I think Idris will save this movie if it gets saved.
Yes. I think he's going to do a good job.
He looked pretty good.
I liked him in it.
In the trailer?
Yeah.
In his appearance in the trailer?
I liked him a lot. He did.
When he shot
job.
that guy without looking?
That was cool, yeah. And he had his little line about how I thought it was a little weird. He had his big line in the movie or in the trailer was, you don't aim with your hand.
Also.
Yeah, he said you don't aim with your hand, and then he said that shows you haven't looked your father in the face or something like that.
That shows a man who has forgotten his father.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. That part of it doesn't make sense to me. And then he said you aim with your eyes. And then he said you don't shoot with your
hand.
Gun.
Hand. You don't shoot with your hand. You shoot with your mind.
And you don't kill with your gun. You kill with your heart. Which is creepy and kind of cool. But I didn't get the thing about like if you aim with your hand, you don't remember your father's face.
If you aim with your eyes, because eyes are used for something.
He's saying you don't aim with your eyes.
No.
I was thinking hand.
You don't aim with your hand.
No, you don't aim with your eyes. You aim with your mind. You
What?
don't shoot with your hand. Dang it! I'm getting so confused. Why do you forget your father's eyes?
I don't know. He probably
face?
mentions his father earlier. Danny Glover's his dad. No, it's not. That's not Danny Glover.
That's not who that was. But yeah,
Who's his dad?
Look, I don't think it was anybody. It didn't look like anybody I knew.
Welcome to Charlie and Bethany Forget a Trailer.
Well, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Movie Trailer Trash. Sometimes we get a little weird with it. But yeah, Idris Elba. That's what I got to say about that. You want to do some plugs?
All right.
Okay, go.
Oh, you can follow us at MTT Podcast. You can also go look at all of our stuff at mttpodcast.com. That's where everything is. That's where everything lives. Go to iTunes. Give us a review. Give us a rating. Everyone will look at us and they'll feel fine.
And they'll want to listen to us. Also, we got a Facebook now. We're posting, kind of behind the scenes stuff. We're going to post all of our blogs there. A lot of content that is Facebook only content. So if you're interested, take a look at that. Movie Trailer Trash Podcast on Facebook. And also, please rate and review us on Facebook. That means a lot to us. It kind of shows people what you guys think and gives them an idea of why they should listen to us. So finally, you can check us out at patreon.com, Movie Trailer Trash Podcast.
And as always, follow Entertainment Buffet at Entertainment Buffet and subscribe to their YouTube channel, Entertainment Buffet YouTube channel.
Anyway, so we will see you guys next time. Thanks for listening.
Bye.